Hi there. In this video, we're going to go over porting and everything that you're going to need to know in order to port. So, when you start at your zone, you can start near the front doors and you'll use your picker and bucket to start manually picking up all the little debris that you find around. Just a note as well, if you manage to fill up your whole bucket, you should dump the contents into a trash bag to store them for now, and then you can go back and continue using your bucket. With this process, we're going to heavily prioritize the front portion of the lot, as that tends to have the most traffic. Each client is going to have a different statement of work, so it's best to check in with your supervisor so that you can know what each different site is going to require. So now that we've defined the areas that we do need to clean, now we can talk about what we need to clean within them. First up, you're going to need to tend to the cart corrals, the islands, and the edges of the lot, as those areas are very difficult or impossible to reach with the sweeper truck. You're going to need to pick up any pallet pieces or larger, considered bulk items, and you need to avoid driving over them if you're using the sweeper truck because it could clog and mess up the sweeper truck. You don't want to cause any damage to the truck that you're in. You could use a blower or a shovel to clean the curb lines depending on how dense it is. To do this, the best way is to just walk down the curb line using the blower or shovel to scoop or blow all of the debris out of the corners. For when a corner does happen, please pay special attention to dig all the stuff out of there because obviously it being a corner, that is where the most debris tends to build up. If there's any gravel, make sure to shovel that out of the way so it won't spread around. If you are working with a sweeper truck, an easy method to use is to use the blower or the shovel to scoop debris away from the curb lines so that it's very easy to get with the sweeper truck. Making efficient use of that strategy can save you a lot of time and effort. If you're unable to get to absolutely everything before your time at the site ends, please make sure to notify your supervisor so that it can be specifically tended to on that site's next cleaning. Some things to note about using the blowers to clean up dust and debris is to stop using it at least 5 minutes before you take your after photos. If you take your photos too soon after using the blower, there can be dust and debris like floating in the air, and you don't want that to be in your photos. Second thing to note is to not make a mess that you're not going to be able to clean up. If you don't have enough time or you don't have the resources to finish a job, i.e. blowing debris away from a curb line, but then not being able to sweep it all up, just don't start it in the first place. And as I said previously, you can just make a note to your supervisor so that it can be specifically tended to in the future. And lastly is about blowing around cars. You want to make sure you steer clear and don't blow towards any cars. You don't want to unintentionally cause any damage with some flying debris. And that's going to be about it for the basics on porting. If you need to rewind to any section for a refresher, you can look along the video's timeline below to skip to that labeled section.